What's going on, guys? This is the Fullstack bro coming at you with another video today. You can see I'm dressed for the gym, about to hit some legs. Got my tea here. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big black tea drinker. I don't drink coffee and all that stuff. I'm not really a coffee fan, but I figured before I go to the gym, I wanted to talk to you guys about one of the worst experiences I ever had at a hackathon at my previous company, and some of the biggest lessons that I learned from that experience. Now, just to give you some background, at this point, I was working with my last company for going on like 6 years at this point. And I started there as a web developer, and I was managing their websites, servers, making sure that everything was up to date. I was also doing QA testing on the side to understand software development. And then I transitioned from that into becoming a front-end developer. And we were using React.js as like our UI framework at this point. The company actually decided to do a hackathon, and it will be a 24-hour hackathon. Now, anybody could have participated in this. It doesn't matter who it was. If you didn't have any technical experience, you could have participated. We did the first day, we talked about, there was a lot of ideas, there was a lot of pitches of what people wanted to do. And then based off of popularity, you would pick a team. And one of the ideas that I was very interested in was an integration connector between all of our products. So if you think about just a unified dashboard that has analytics from one product that gives you insight as to what's going on, as opposed to just logging in to that product and just making sure that everything's on the up and up, or not checking your email or notifications. You can have a unified dashboard that does all this stuff, and you can just log in, look into the data, and then see if you really need to take action or not. The wireframe of it was pretty simple. You would just have like one application with like a couple pages. The first page would just be a dashboard of graphs of how well the system is doing across different types of environments and systems, what needs to take immediate action, and what you should do to mitigate those risks or take care of it if you need to. Say, for example, if there's an account that has elevated privileges, we want that shown in the dashboard and notified to the users immediately, right? So they could take action. Second part that I was tasked with was creating a page that had the ability to pull in nodes, right? So like you could drag and drop nodes onto the page. Then from there, you could add different metadata to it. So say, for example, if I wanted to run a cron job for something, right? It's pretty much a workflow builder if you think about it in this case, but you pull over a node. Once that node pulls onto the page, then you can add the metadata to it. Then if you pull a second node in for another action, then that node would connect to that one, and then you could build rules and workflows based off that and choose different actions that you want to execute. So the idea of it sounded pretty cool, and it was something new that I haven't done before. At this point, I'm thinking I could do this way less than 24 hours. I'll be done in like maybe 3 to 4. Okay, I was really high on, I could code, I could do all this stuff. I have a ton of experience. There's no way I'm not gonna get this done. And that was my first mistake right there. That was my first mistake right there, because I didn't realize how much thought it took to figuring out to get the ability to add nodes to the page. What's the first thing that you would do? Would you build it from scratch, or would you look for a third-party alternative that you could easily install into the project? I went with the second option. I wasn't gonna spend too much time building my own because I didn't have experience with it. So I found a library that actually allowed you to do exactly what I just described. So I was like, okay, cool. I got the node portion done. I installed it. I looked at different examples of what you could do, and I just applied it, and I tried to do as much as I could. At this point, I was able to drag nodes around, and I was able to connect them in different ways. But then I ran into a huge blocker. And this blocker was, as soon as I connected those nodes together, I wanted that modal window to pop up, and then I could create different actions on that. There would have been more complications too, in terms of the back end, dispatching that action. As soon as you click save on that modal, it should dispatch an action to the back end so that it creates that workflow and it's stored in a cron job. I was able to do all that, connect the nodes, but I couldn't get the modal window to pop up. I didn't understand what a modal window was. I didn't know how to trigger that or create that. or whether what we had already baked in already had that functionality already. So I was really at a disadvantage. I didn't really ask for help. I didn't do any of that. You could picture 24 hours, right? I'm searching on Google, I'm writing stuff up. I'm just trying to find something that would solve this problem. And after hours of coding and getting nowhere, long before you know it, it's the next day, and now we have to do a status update. So everybody's talked about, oh, I did this, I got this done, and they're demoing it, and then it comes to me, and all I'm doing is dragging, dropping nodes on there, connecting them, but nothing else happens, and that's it. And then you could just fill the room. Like, the room is just like, that's all you did in 24 hours? That's ridiculous. And I felt in that moment that imposter syndrome, right? Like, everybody feels this way. When you failed miserably at something and now you're feeling the energy of the room shift. At first, everybody was giving you their respect because you're now like a front-end developer, you moved up and you wanted to try something new, and there's a respect factor there. But then once you got to that point and you failed, like you just feel it in the room. So I didn't really like that feeling. I really thought like I really knew everything, and come to find out, that's not the case. So after we did the status update and all that stuff, everybody came in like the next day, and then we did presentations, right? Presentations for what everybody else did. Our presentation was the best, and we won the hackathon. Now, I wouldn't consider that win for me because I didn't do anything. Yeah, I got the third-party library together, I got the page together, and I was able to connect the nodes, but that was already part of the library. I didn't write any code, I didn't do anything extra to get this done. So in that moment, I was like, should I really be doing this? Like, should I really be a developer? Should I really be writing code for the rest of my life? Then after a while, like, I was down for a couple days, and then I remembered my old coworker telling me about this website called Udemy, where you could just go on there. Usually they have deals. So if you go on udemy.com right now, you could probably find a course that was probably like $100. You could probably find it for $15 because they always have good deals going on. But told me about Udemy, how you could find if there's a particular language that you're trying to learn, or if you're trying to learn something new, you can go on Udemy, look at the courses, see if the instructor makes sense for you and whether you want to learn from them, and then purchase that course and then really invest your time in learning. And I took them up on it. Every single day after work, I would spend an hour going through the course. And then I realized how much I didn't know. And not only working in coding and solving problems, like small problems at work, and then coming back home and dedicating an hour to just learning different things that you don't know, that really had made me 1% better every day. So every single time I got home, I looked at the computer for 1 hour, went through the course, then I would go to work and then just fix bugs like it was nothing. So I was getting to that point where I was starting to gain mastery of React.js. I could solve complex problems and not be swayed to where like I don't feel like I could do this. Like any problem that comes to mind for whatever you need to build, any feature that you're trying to build, we would just have to look at the requirements, break it down into smaller pieces, and just go at it one task at a time. And that will make things a lot easier. The biggest lessons that I did learn was that you always have to be a student. You cannot stay the same. You cannot just sit there and think that you know everything. If your ego is telling you this, you really have to tame that ego down and really focus on understanding that there's going to be something introduced into the tech space, whether it's new and it's hip, it's hot. You got to sit there, do the research, and see if it's going to work for you, and learn as much as you can, and take constructive criticism as well. Another lesson that I feel like when it comes to working on projects, if it's something that you don't know, just say you don't know. Don't act like you know everything, because it's going to show when it's time to give a status update, like me. If you say that you could work on this project and it's supposed to take you a month to get done and it's taking you 2 to 3 months, that's an issue. If you don't know, say you don't know. And if you're willing to learn, just say, I don't know right now, but I'm willing to learn, and I will ask for help whenever I need it. And then that brings me to another point, ask for help. If you do not know something, just ask for help. If it's taking you longer than an hour to figure something out, ask for help. It will save you a lot of time and brain power if you do this. Practice is crucial, is another lesson. You have to practice. If there's something that you want to learn, practice. Every day, 30 minutes to an hour. If that's too easy, then 1 hour to 2 hours until you get to that 4-hour spot, which is the sweet spot for learning. Stay there, right? Practice every single day. You should get better. Failure is part of the game. If you made that mistake and the way you're feeling, if you feel down, if you feel imposter syndrome, that's a good thing. Okay, that just shows that you need to learn and get out of that. Everybody makes mistakes. You could bounce back from it. Failure is part of the journey, guys. I failed so many times. There's so many projects that I worked on, then come to realize that, it wasn't as good as I thought it would be. And a lot of that is because either not questioning the requirements or thinking outside the box in terms of what needs to be done. You got to put yourself in the shoes of the user that's going to be using the product. Also, from a technical standpoint, what makes the most sense, and adhere to a coding standard. That's it, guys. That's the video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you guys have done hackathons. I've done a bunch of hackathons before. They're cool. Like, you can learn a lot of stuff like doing a hackathon. It takes you out of your comfort zone as well. Talk soon.